Good morning. Hello there.
Welcome in, everyone. 6 o'clock on this Thursday. We're just talking about Shinedown, which apparently is John's
favorite artist.
top artist. Tell us more about this Shinedown, John.
Well, I
It's
work
rock?
out so much that it's hard rock. It's like you know.
Screaming?
No, it's good. It's good. It's like motivational rock too. Anyway, so that's working out, and then I also have Jonas Brothers at 3. I'm not Joe, and then Charlie Puth and Blink-182. I'm like, Jonas Brothers were 3rd. Is that embarrassing? Okay. Yeah, 20, whatever. It is what it is. 27 degrees, 30 in Brainerd. I like the one with Marshmallow. The one they teamed up with I'm trying to save myself. 27 in Alexandria, Mankato, 28. You've got this cold front coming through. Behind it, you got north wind. North wind is at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. That holds us down about 8 degrees. But this is a really quiet day. Quiet day today. Great day to snuggle up, listen to some JB, some Jonas Bros, and we'll talk about a slight warm-up and a couple chances for some snow for the weekend.
We know you're a fan if you can name all 3 of the Jonas Brothers.
I'm not doing it.
You know them. I know
No.
it.
Jack.
Nope.
Salmon.
Salmon Jonas.
All right, here's the roads. If you have anywhere to be this morning, no crashes, no delays. Drive times are average. We'll show you one of the traffic cameras here through the Lowry Hill Tunnel 94 at Lindale, where drive times between Minneapolis and St. Paul are just 8 minutes in both directions.
Time now, 6:01. We're keeping a close watch on what's happening in the Middle East right now. About 7 hours ago, moments before fighting was supposed to restart, Israel and Hamas extended their truce.
And now a new race begins, though, to get more hostages back home safely. Jennifer Austin is at the live desk with some new information for us this morning. Jen, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Alicia, and that is the hope for the ceasefire, is get more hostages home. It's thought that Hamas is still holding about 145. But this morning, we are getting updated video into our newsroom. Here it is. This came in just about 20 minutes ago. It shows the latest group of freed Israeli hostages making their way to a hospital. 100 hostages have been freed since this ceasefire began, and now it's entering its 7th day. In his remarks overnight, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said food and medical supplies have also been delivered to people in Gaza. However, both sides in this conflict say they are ready to start fighting again once the ceasefire is over. Alicia?
Jen, thank you. One of the most divisive diplomats of the 20th century, former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, has died at the age of 100. According to a statement from his firm, Kissinger died Wednesday at his home in Connecticut. Kissinger was a Jewish refugee who escaped Nazi Germany. He served as the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under Presidents Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Kissinger won a Nobel Peace Prize for helping arrange the end of the U.S. military involvement in the Vietnam War. He also had a lot of critics, some accusing him of war crimes for widening the U.S.'s role in Vietnam and expanding the conflict into Cambodia.
The University of Minnesota Duluth community is mourning the loss of a 22-year-old football player, Ryan Reed. Ryan's family says in his obituary that he died of cardiac arrest due to an undetected genetic heart condition. UMD's head football coach says Ryan collapsed last week during a team workout. Training staff did CPR on him to revive his pulse, but he died at the hospital earlier this week. They say he was a promising young athlete and an even better person.
Tough, I think, for us, that to make sense of a tragedy like this, of somebody as young and healthy as Reed.
And the team is planning to honor Ryan's legacy when they return to the field next year. Their season ended earlier this month. Meanwhile, we have some good news to share about a critically injured Holy Angels hockey player. Mason Garcia is now out of the hospital. Earlier this month, during a scrimmage, the senior forward suffered a traumatic brain injury after crashing into the boards. According to his CaringBridge page, Garcia was released from the hospital on Tuesday and is now doing outpatient rehab.
New details this morning on how Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey is responding to a new lawsuit against the city from businesses in George Floyd Square.
I'm Ken Turdahl. A handful of businesses located inside and next door to Cup Foods at 38th and Chicago and Minneapolis are suing the city and Mayor Jacob Frey for their response to the murder of George Floyd. The businesses are seeking about $1.5 million in damages, claiming the concrete barriers that blocked the intersection at George Floyd Square for more than a year limited access to their property, led to an increase in violent crime, and a loss in rental income and real estate value. The city isn't commenting, but a spokesperson for the mayor's office said in a statement, "We did everything possible to open the street safely amid very tenuous circumstances. When we finally did open the street, the city did so in a planned way where no one was hurt and the area remained safe for residents."
The CDC just released new information saying it's seeing a lot of COVID-19 viral activity in Minnesota wastewater. The agency puts our state in the very high range along with Iowa. That being said, the CDC says hospitalizations are still low in most of the state.
Along Lake Street in Minneapolis, shoppers are getting rewarded for supporting local businesses. The Lake Street Loyalty Challenge has been around since 2021 as a way to thank shoppers who support small businesses in the area. Between now and December 15th, if you spend at least $15 at a small locally owned business within the Lake Street corridor and submit your receipt, you'll get a $15 gift card from one of 6 businesses that are part of the program.
After the COVID pandemic, as well as to the civil unrest, the market and as well as the corridor suffer some decrease in foot traffic, which obviously impacted the economic activity that was happening here.
The challenge is limited to 500 people and more than 150 have already taken advantage so far. On top of that, one person will win a grand prize valued at more than $500. Not bad. Well, in less than an hour, construction ramps up for the world's largest ice maze. It's all happening right here in Minnesota.
And we're talking about millions of pounds of ice and 18,000 square feet of fun. Megan Rysad is right in the middle of the construction zone, live at CCO Bank Stadium at Viking Lakes in Eagan. Megan, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Jason, you are spot on there. We are smack dab in the middle of construction here. This is going to be the future site of Minnesota Ice Festival. So it's going to look very different come January. We have Robbie Harrell. He is the owner and CEO of Minnesota Ice. Good morning. Thanks for having us out here.
Thanks for coming out.
Tell me, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so we're looking at the field protection. We've obviously got to protect the field and the turf that the Minnesota Vikings practice on. So we laid down a plastic, then we did armor decking, and then plywood, and then that's when we bring in the almost 60 trucks worth of gravel, and then we can start construction of the ice maze and the festival.
Wow. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about that festival. We've got some video and photos from last year.
Yep.
So we don't have anything from this year, obviously. It's still under construction, so we want to show that to our viewers. It's actually going to be at least twice the size of last year. Tell me a little bit else about it.
Yeah, so this year we'll be bringing back the ice slide. We're also bringing in an ice rink that people will be able to use. You'll be able to rent ice skates. We'll do a signature wall. We're going to have almost a dozen food trucks. We'll have the warming house, the ice bars, different games made out of ice. We'll have the different fire pits. So it's really going to be a lot of fun for everybody.
Excellent. And it starts January 5th.
Correct.
Now, you started Minnesota Ice in your basement, or not in your basement, in your garage, 10 years ago.
Yep.
Did you ever think you would be involved in something this scale?
You know, I'd like to think so, but, you know, it takes a little time to, you know, build it and dream it and, you know, make it all come to fruition.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, because this is quite the venture.
It is.
And you also dropped prices this year, which I think a lot of people will probably be happy about instead of, you know, inflation raising prices.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we're down to $19.99 for adults and then $9.99 for kids, and you can get your tickets at MinnesotaIceFestival.com.
Okay, excellent, Robbie. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right, we'll send it back to you guys in studio.
Definitely something fun to check out. Jason has like a whole list he's creating of places to go to.
I mean, this is my first full winter in Minnesota, so I gotta take it all in.
We want you to love it, so you stay a while. All right, Megan, thank you.
Yes.